National Road Rally's coming up, folks. Yes, folks, it's National Road Rally time again, not that long after the Welsh National Road Rally. I'm almost ready, there's just over 3 days to go. It's all done in rough, the route. It's got to be put onto the cards and cut out for the tank bag. Sorry we haven't been able to get out, but the problem with the weather, which is a first I think, the problem with the weather to get out and do a nice countryside yak at you is wind, and not the bean variety. Just wind. It's very windy the last 2 or 3 days, which I hope that's not a bad sign of weather changing for the worst. A small change, as far as I'm concerned anyway, in the platinum level, which I'm doing again on Webley MK II, is that it's a little bit more points and one more control than last year. I've got to get 560 points over the 2 days and visit 24 controls over those 2 days. No night section again. We've all had our say, and some keep going on about it. Yes, it's brilliant to have that night section, especially when it's lovely weather. Overnight, it's brilliant. I'd love it back myself. I hope it comes back. It may not just be a simple issue of just rider care and consideration of having enough controls to give people decent places to have rests. There's possibly insurance issues. Maybe it costs more. I don't know, but yeah, we would like it back. I think a lot of us would like it back, but let's see what happens for next year. Let's enjoy this year. Yes, I was rather saddened myself that it wasn't going to happen, but at least the rallies are still going. So back to the points, as I say, I got it in rough, and it took about 4 goes. I almost got it right in 3 and a bit attempts, but then I realised I made a complete mess of it, which made a mess of the first day, which meant I had to change the second day, and it all fell apart, start again, to an extent. We're going to start at Worcester, which is usually when we have the full-blown rally overnight. That's usually my finish control, because it's the nearest one to home. It's only about 22 miles, I think, something like that from home. So it's always the one I go for to finish on. Of course, really, it's a lot easier to do now. All controls are normal controls, running controls. You can start and finish at any. I won't go into all the rules because they're pretty much like last year. You can go back and watch that if you want to. I'll go on the National Road Rally website or Facebook page and do it there. As I say, we're going to start at Worcester, and then we're going to go off over the Malvern Hills to Ledbury, which is a new control by the station there. And talking of new controls, I do like to mix it up. If I can't have the cream, if you like, i.e. the night section, I really have to look at making it a bit different. Not just for the videos, just for myself. I mean, I nearly didn't video this year because, well, it's been done, hasn't it, several times. Several times it's been done on the same bike or the same model of bike in regards to Webley MK I, Webley MK II. And of course Smelly, which was of course different. I try and mix it up myself, different controls. It is difficult if you start near home and want to finish near home to make it reasonably different, but through trial and error, of course, I have made it different, but I'm not finishing near home, anywhere near home this time, but more on that in a bit. So we're starting at Worcester, and we're going over to Ledbury via the Malvern Hills, which will be a bit busy, I suppose, through Worcester City itself and then through Malvern Link, but it should be pretty good after that. Then we go down to Ross-on-Wye, which is the same control as last year, so that's a bit samey. Although we're not going exactly the same way. It is in reverse, and that does happen a few times where we're visiting the same controls as last year. Not that many, but the last, I think it's 3 on Saturday evening, they're all the same as last year when I was on the outward bit, but in reverse. So a little bit samey, but quite a bit of it different. And there's a few controls that have moved locations. So for example, Carterton is not at Bryce Norton anymore. It's up the road, it's near Burford. And we're going to head south for a change on day 1. We're going down as far as Glastonbury, and then we're going to make our way back up. We're sort of doing an anti-clockwise-ish sort of run. We're going to head back up to Redditch for day 1. So day 1 is Worcester, Ledbury, Ross-on-Wye, Nailsworth, Bath, Devizes, Gladstonebury, Warminster, Amesbury, Hungerford, Carterton, Stow-on-the-Wold, Warwick and Redditch, giving me 335 points and visiting 14 controls. Now day 2 starts at the Food Stop Cafe, Quatford, as we did last year, but on day 1. We'll be starting at 6 o'clock. If everything goes to plan and nothing much in the way happens too untoward, I should be able to get my breaks in very easily on day 2. Day 1's pretty decent, but day 2, starting at 6 in the morning, I should be able to get my breaks in very nicely. And without looking, I think I'll finish around about 2:40 at an hour for your break minimum. So I'm going to finish around about something like between 3 and 4 in the afternoon, which is a nice early finish from the norm, which is usually smack bang on 6 o'clock or say 15 minutes before. So hopefully it goes to plan. I'm going to have to check day 2 again though, because I'm thinking, hang on a minute, that's a bit quick. I work it out without using motorways and without double backing on myself on the same roads, unless there's no practical route otherwise. For example, I've got to go around Manchester a bit, so it's going to be motorway. And this is the only time I'm going to say it, folks, because I'm fed up of saying it myself. It is not a race. And whilst I might call the different parts of the rally stages, they're not time stages. I am covered on my own insurance anyway. Of course, you've got the insurance through the rally should you need it. But because it's not time stages, I am covered. Obviously there's a start time and there's a finish time to the event. But as long as those intermediate stages are not timed, it's fine. I do have times, of course, but that's just to give me a guide, as is always, onto how good or bad I'm doing on the rally as a whole. If it falls apart big time, and I would suggest something like just a puncher would be enough to throw it out, certainly on the Saturday, maybe not on the Sunday, but I'm not that brilliant at fixing punchers anyway. And to be honest, I don't think I've ever done one on a bike with tube tyres. Push bikes, yes. Now day 2, we're starting at Bridgnorth, or the Cafe at Quatford, the Food Stop Cafe. Too early for Nosh, because it's a 6 o'clock start there for me. The idea is to finish earlier than usual, and that's doable because the 6 o'clock start to 9 o'clock. 3 hour leeway this year for day 2, which is great. Anything that makes it easier for newbies is great to get people into the rally. And then if things don't, say, go back to as they were or similar, or they change again, but even if they don't really change, perhaps you can mix it up yourself a bit. Probably next year I'll be on a different bike. I have said in passing that this would be my last National Road Rally for a while. It'll probably be Webley Mark II's last one, because I want to mix it up a bit. More on that next year, as and when a certain bike may or may not be ready for the road. So day 2 then starts Bridgnorth, then off to Uttoxeter, Congleton, Woolley Bridge, Bury. Those are quite similar but in reverse. Then a new control, in fact all these are new to me, Accrington, Ingleton, Newby Bridge, and we're in the lakes there, and I've got a bit of an advantage because I shouldn't really, except for one bit where I'm going to go through Broughton in Furness. That's the plan anyway. I shouldn't really need a map for any of the controls after Ingleton, except for Whitehaven. When I get to Whitehaven itself, to get to Whitehaven on the whole is easy, straight up the 595, and hopefully we finish there mid-afternoon, we'll say. Then it's about an hour's ride back across the passes to Coniston, where I'm going to stay. It's a little expensive rally this time, and it's going to be more expensive by the time I've finished because it's the lakes and they have Bluebird beer. That is the rough plan. 560 points, 24 controls over the 2 days, 14 on Saturday, 10 on Sunday. Total mileage, if I had it all up right, for the whole trip from door to door, including the stopover and the ride back, is just a fraction under 800 miles.